In this video, I'd like to talk about what's possible today with artificial intelligence and DocuSign CLM. So let's go ahead and let's grab some third-party paper. Now, the thing to realize is this could be done with the paper that gets generated as well. It's not required to do this for just the third-party paper. But if you're a procurement department or group or team or any business unit within an organization where a lot of external paper comes through, then this is an example for you. If it was using the generated paper, well, the time to run the AI would be during negotiations for it to help detect if red lines or other changes were made. So we're going to see a shift with the redlining process, and that shift will more or less mean that some means of an LLM, large language model, will be involved in looking at an agreement. Okay, so here's this simple example. We've uploaded some paper, and we can see here, as in past videos, we're getting an initial summary that DocuSign is running over this agreement, and will, once it's done, come up with, hey, this agreement is all of these things. Very good and wonderful. We're going to move, though, to actually take a look at what the legal aspect is here. And this could be set up for anybody, but let's say for now, the business has decided that it should only be legal that can run the artificial intelligence. So back here in Salesforce, we have already pre-baked out of the box the tracking. Everything that goes on with this document, whether it be third-party paper or company-generated paper, is getting tracked. Now we're just waiting for it to get to legal, and okay, it's in legal now, so let's go into legal. And there's many ways legal can get in here, via email, via living in their DocuSign CLM instance, or of course through Salesforce. Even potentially Slack and other integrations, which will be future videos. So here we're going to run the LLM against our agreement. And now this is being sent to the back end on DocuSign side for their LLM, which is trained to review contractual agreements. And as this goes off, we'll see it eventually come back after the LLM has taken a look at it and given us some information. Now, some other things that are happening now, which are available today, are the LLM and the information that is being extracted not only is presented here, but inside Salesforce, inside this record of this actively working document, you now have the clauses that are being extracted in real time as the LLM runs. So what you're going to see here is the rows continue to get added as the LLM is looking for these different pieces of metadata. And we now are able to write that information back into Salesforce. What does that mean? Well, it's fully exposing what the LLM is extracting and what the LLM is relying on, which it shows you here in a similar way. So when we go in here and we want to look for that effective date, we can see that 3-1 that's in here, and we can see where it grabbed it from. Well, when we go back in here, we're actually seeing the suggested value, the confidence level that it has that it is correct. Is it giving me the link to the location? No, it's not, but it's effectively telling you what it is extracting. And now we're getting a little bit further in here because this process is basically parsing the results that are returned from the LLM. And now what can we do with this information? So we see it continues to grow here. Well, we can certainly then capitalize on what Salesforce offers for reporting. We can also run this through another LLM. So what you can have here now is another process, an additional check of this data, or an additional interpretation of this data for every agreement that gets processed. Now there's something else that's going on here, so let's go back to our record, and what we'll see underneath here, look, it also extracted other instances where it found something. So here we have indemnity, and it found an additional clause that it said could be applicable. Now that again translates over here when we look at the indemnity portion here. There are two hits where it found two instances of what it feels, or what it feels doesn't feel anything, what it thinks, interprets, statistically probability highly that this is indemnification or an indemnity clause. Well, demystification, here is the full text of what it found. So what does this again translate to? This will give the business the opportunity to compare, contrast, run additional heuristics against this information for all of their documents. And they can do that inside Salesforce. Right, so let's go ahead and let's accept this, and then we'll finish up this video here. So we're going to accept this information. We're going to put in just some values to show how things translate through. And we've got the effective date. We'll set an expiration date into the future. Oh, okay. And let's go ahead and give it a renewal term, termination notice, and I'll show you some fun things here. Well, actually, that was a 5-day that was already accepted. We don't need to worry about requested by. We'll do 10 here. We'll keep going through here and just go ahead and finish this up, because what I want to show you is the final piece of the puzzle here. So we've got the extracted values that the LLM on the DocuSign CLM found. And now we're going to save this data that the human has reviewed and said, okay, we're good with this. This is what it should be. And what we're going to see here in a second, once this is done, let's go here. Let's refresh our record now. And what we should see is all of what the human did is now available in Salesforce. Okay, so the only piece is the AI requester. I didn't fill in who the reviewer was, but that would come in as well. So you can see here, all this information now is available to anyone in Salesforce that wants to work with this. So now you can compare and contrast. You could feed this data along with the clause data into an LLM and have it do an analysis. This is providing much greater data mining, much greater ease of risk management, potential cost reduction, but most importantly as well, compliance. Final thought here, and there'll be a future video on this. What if we had a clause library that we could then check the clauses that were extracted against and provide some means of interpretation or risk analysis or compliance? This is where we're headed with the ability to democratize data extraction from unstructured content and then feed those extractions into another LLM, or it could be the same one, to be honest. It doesn't really have to be another one, but have it processed another time. And final thought, what if you wanted to gauge against different LLMs where the analysis could fall? So maybe we have an LLM that is trained heavily on a particular compliance concept, while another one is trained heavily on a risk assessment concept, and so forth. This is where I think you're going to see the changes. But present day, today, this is now available. Extractions, being able to see all the clauses that the LLM figured out were important, categorizations, or if it didn't find anything, it's in there as an unknown, percentage of confidence that the LLM says it should be, and additional instances that the LLM found, which can then all be processed in another fashion. So this is available today. Thanks.